ON4ISS. Yes, good evening. I am excited to talk with all the kids today. Stella, it's like the best roller coaster ride you could imagine. When you start on the launch pad, your chair that you're sitting in starts to shake and rumble, and you can feel the vibrations. And then all of a sudden, you start to be slowly pressed into your seat as the acceleration builds up, and it builds up to 4 times the Earth's gravity as you're squashed in, screaming towards space. And it's a little bumpy, and you can look out and see the Earth kind of disappear below you. It's a thrilling ride. Over. You know, the experiments, the way that we do them is very similar to what we do on the ground, but the key, the reason we're up here to begin with, is that we can do these experiments when gravity isn't the dominant force. So on the ground, gravity changes everything. And so up here, we're able to conduct experiments where gravity doesn't affect what we're looking at. For instance, one of the experiments that I was working on just this week, we're trying to grow protein crystals. These protein crystals, when we grow them on the ground, gravity squashes them and changes their natural shape. Up here, it doesn't. And so we're better able to identify their shape and design and look at drugs that would be effective with these proteins, and that will help us treat illnesses on the ground. Over. You know, that's a question that we're up here also trying to answer. You know, NASA's out there looking for life in space, so I sure hope that there is life somewhere else out in space. But I can tell you that looking down on the Earth, we live on a pretty miraculous planet. It's pretty special to see all the diversity and all the life down there, and to realize that it's on this one small island in the oasis of vast darkness up here. Over. It's hard to nail down just one. Let's go with last night. I was in the cupola looking out at night during a night pass, so it was dark on the Earth. We're on the dark side. And the moon was behind us, and it was shining off the clouds below, and it was actually reflecting off of the ocean, kind of like the sun would reflect off the ocean. And at the same time, you could see the northern lights dancing on the horizon as we came up over the United States, and you could see all the city lights lit up like a map. And as we sped across the United States, watching the northern lights, the sun rose up over the horizon. It was an amazing experience. Over. Well, so fortunately, we all receive medical training so that we can help each other to some extent. And we're lucky enough to have a doctor as one of our astronauts up here right now. But it's not just the 6 of us up here that are doing this mission. There is a team of hundreds and thousands on the ground that support us. So we have teams of medical professionals that we can confer with if we have problems, and they can help us. And we've got equipment up here where they can try to diagnose something that might be wrong with us. If something gets really bad and we can't treat it, then we come home. Over. Yeah, for fun in space, one of the coolest things is just being able to float around. So flying through the station and pretending I'm my own spacecraft, or I'm a plane that's zipping around. It never gets old. I've been up here almost 200 days, and I still enjoy it. We also sit around the dinner table and play with our food, floating it in front of us, taking a scoop of food and putting it on my spoon, and then letting the spoon float in front of me, not holding on to it, and eating from a spoon with no hands. Drinking our drinks in bubbles that we squirt out of our drink bags. It's just a lot of fun. Over. This is my first time to the space station, and it's a long mission, so I've been up here about 200 days. I did try to launch once before, so I launched this time in March. I tried to launch about a year ago in October, and we had a launch failure that caused us to abort the launch. So this was my first time in space, but my second try to get there. Over. Being in space changes everything, and so if you think about all the things, one of the big changes is gravity. So up here we don't have gravity pulling down on us all the time, and so we don't feel that. So fluids change. The fluid distribution, my blood goes into different places in my body and at different pressures. It changes how cells reinforce themselves. So my skeleton will change because I'm not constantly applying weight to it, so it can become weak if I don't continue to work out. And the same kind of things happen down at the cell level inside tissues. because the skeletal structure of a cell changes because it doesn't have gravity affecting it. So many things change. Even the DNA we're made of changes dramatically up here, and that's just from the gravity. If you add radiation in, radiation causes all kinds of changes as well. So space is pretty hard on the human body. Over.